Welcome to episode 9 of Gin Before Friends. I am here with my fellow Swifties,
Whoop, whoop.
um,
Yeah.
Mockingbird,
Hello.
and Morbid Plum. And we are going to be talking about all things Alien chapter, as well as other chapter changes, and then wrapping out with some Texas Chainsaw Massacre because we have been playing and it's been fun. How's everyone doing this fine evening?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
not too bad.
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. That will be after the podcast.
Oh, yes. Whiskey. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
whiskey.
Whiskey and Wine Wednesday.
Not while we record, though, because it might get a little
Might
wild.
get
But
a little cray cray.
maybe we'll save that for episode 10.
Yeah. Drunk by daylight.
Right?
Yeah.
That'll be our anniversary.
With Gins Before Friends. All right, guys, let's jump into the Alien chapter and let's talk about some of the chapter changes, which are essentially all alien buffs.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about our feelings about that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read through them to get everyone up to speed. So Alien came out. Well, let me ask you guys, like, how are you liking the chapter? It's out now. Mocking, how do you like it?
I mean, I'm glad everyone's playing Alien. This is why I think it should have been the anniversary chapter, because everyone's like hyped about it and playing it. But it is, I'm still learning how to counter the alien. Because if they're bad with the tail attack, you can counter them. But when they're good with the tail attack, it's like miserable. So, but I haven't played a lot of Alien yet. Been playing a lot of Survivor. So, I mean, I don't think it's bad. I think the perks are interesting. I do like the perks on both the Alien and the Survivor perks. But yeah, it's been a lot Alien. So I took kind of a break this weekend from playing DVD.
Too much Alien.
And then I played a lot of TCM, which we'll talk about later. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a bad chapter. It's just everyone's excited and playing it, but I needed a break. But yeah, trying to learn how to counter the alien has been interesting.
Yep. How about Morbid? How about you? How are you liking the new chapter?
I haven't played it too much just because I was out of town for the holiday weekend here in the US. But I have been watching people play. I'm interested to see how actually going against him live with all of his changes are going to be. So I'll have to let you know later.
All right, to be determined. We'll
Yeah.
check back. I still think it's a really cool chapter. I'm not sure about all these buffs. Earlier this evening I shared a TikTok with the girl where a streamer was talking about how to counter the alien's tail attack, and it basically ended with just back out of the game and exit.
Yeah.
Impossible.
It's like vault the window. No.
Vault the window. No.
Fake
vault
vaulting.
the window.
No.
No. Okay, back out of the game and exit.
Which we did notice in the PTB. Like, that thing is long, and I did not realize it was going to be that hard.
Maki and I were playing a game, and we were in Midwich, and I was vaulting the window to go down in like the central outside area, and I was halfway down from my vault, and it did the tail attack, and it downed me halfway down. It is long range.
Well, I don't know if that's the alien or the vault issue, which we'll talk about also. It could be a combo of the two.
Could be a combination. But let's get into the buffs. So some changes that were made. So the PTB live changes that were made. So increased Xenomorph movement speed while traversing the map in the tunnels. It was 16, now it's 18. And let's see, while inside the tunnel, when in proximity of an exit, the tunnel connection to the control station or is highlighted for the killer. Let's see, a lot of movement speed. So movement speed after missing a tail attack has been increased to 2, was 1.2. Destroyed turrets now take 60 seconds to return to a control station instead of 45 seconds. Multiple turrets firing at the killer no longer stack, so the Xenomorph will not lose its power faster if it's affected by more than one turret at a time. I know we had fun with that in the PTB, just putting them everywhere and having the killer go into it, When burned by a remote turret without crawler mode ending, power recovery now starts after 1 second was 2. When burned by a remote turret without crawler mode ending, power now recovers at 25% per second was 20. Now, I guess one thing for us survivors, a turret being carried by the survivor now provides the audio radar feedback to any survivor in range. So plus, guys.
Yay.
Um,
Yay, we got something.
we got
Whew,
something.
after all that.
We're gonna win now. Everyone just carried turrets. Slightly decrease the turret placement restriction and turret collision to allow a bit more flexibility with turrets in enclosed locations, which is nice because sometimes I kept getting down because I was trying to place. Now some add-on changes. So emergency helmet add-on is now rare instead of uncommon rarity, and now offers a 35% increased resistant effect instead of 50%. Brett's cap add-on is now an uncommon rarity instead of rare. And well, one thing we'll get into a little bit later is the chase music. But what do you guys think of kind of the buffs they made to Alien Mocking?
I don't know if he needed more movement speed
Yeah,
buffs or the tail
correct.
cooldown, the tail attack cooldown. I'm not sure if
Mhm.
he needed those. Transversing the tunnel, I don't really have a huge issue with. I don't know. But I think the tail attack is probably one of the bigger issues because of the cooldown. And
It's so strong.
it is very strong. And I think if you miss your special attack, there should probably be more punishment for that, if that makes sense. Like, there needs to be a consequence to missing your special attack. So I'm not really happy about that. The turrets take longer. They don't stack. I know people in PTB were really annoyed with the turrets, but it's really your main counter. I feel like there should have been more give and take. If you're going to buff all the movement speed and the tail attack cooldown, then leave the turrets this as they were.
Or give
Like,
us
let them
more
stack.
turrets.
Let them stack. Yeah, or more turrets because they're not going to respawn as fast, right? And they don't stack.
Yep.
I just feel like there's a lot of alien buffs and not a whole lot on the survivor side.
I
So-
agree. I feel like I was thinking about this earlier. I feel like the tail attack is like a built-in coup de grace
I would agree with that.
without having coup on. And I'm like, well, it's like Alien has its own built-in constant perk. But yeah, what about you, Morbid? What do you think about these buffs?
Yeah, I was gonna agree as well with Mocking about the turret, like the multiple turrets, because I know when we were playing PTB, you had kept hiding them everywhere. But like every time you would run into like multiple ones, it was like awful. So I'm kind of glad that they did fix that. But mostly the same stuff. I feel like his speed was pretty fast, and then they increased everything. So it's like, why? Why do you hate survivors?
You know what? It's hard to get all turrets in one location with how slow you move.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And
Can I
without the alien coming up on you. So I think survivors deserve that.
can I
Yeah,
share
I'd
a
be
story?
curious. Oh,
Yes,
yeah, sorry.
yes.
Can I share a
Share.
story? I did play a couple rounds of Alien when it first came out. And like the first round, I had a Felix put all 4 turrets in the basement and led me there.
Oh, God.
It was so funny. And I'm like, you took all this time. Like, you're like hindered, right? Like, and you brought all 4 to the basement. It was so funny. Sorry, I had to share.
That's the reward. Without that Felix being caught by you.
That was
And-
amazing.
I know.
And where the placement of like the boxes are on the map to have to then carry them to the basement, you deserve to have those turrets stacking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It was like
Well-
one of the weirdest games I've ever had where it's like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
Oh,
Well,
that's what we're doing.
Kudos
Cool.
to Felix. Well deserved, sir.
Mhm.
Well deserved.
Right? If you want to spend your whole game doing that, you do you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So that's kind of the buffs that we wanted to talk about. Another cool, I think a cool part of the chapter is the custom hooks. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. I swear I haven't started drinking yet. Custom
Are you sure?
hooks.
Did you just take a sip there? Just kidding.
Maybe. I was trying to coat my throat. So they're pretty cool hooks. They will override the regular hooks when you're playing against the Xenomorph. So it's a good indication if you're playing against if you don't see the boxes with the turrets right away. I think that the hooks are pretty cool. Do you guys have any thoughts on the hooks?
So,
I mean, I like them. They look awesome. I kind of wish they would do that for other people.
oh, I'm glad you brought that up because that was a question I saw posed if all killers should have custom hooks. But one of the issues is stealth killers. You probably wouldn't want
Yeah.
to advertise to the survivors like, "Hey, it's Ghosty. Hey, it's Michael."
Good question. Good question. Good point.
So maybe if they had like an option for you to like enable the hook or not, because you can put charms on your hook. So why not just turn on and off like the custom hook, like your killer hook, basically. So you could run it if you wanted to, and then if you didn't want to, you could run the regular hook.
Which, like, I don't know if all killers need them because, again, some of the fun of the game is not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some killers you go into the match and you kind of automatically know
Oh yeah.
because you see their items. So, now we have Xenomorph, but you have like Nemesis and Wesker and Larry, who I've disowned. You can
Onryo.
yeah, Onryo, who I've also disowned. Basically, depending
Poor
on what your
Larry.
picture look like or items around you, you kind of know right away. But I don't know if I'd want it to be on every because then you can have the jump scares and you can't be like, oh my god, it's a Michael and he's been behind me for 3 minutes. It's not the same feel. For those characters that have like killer items in the matches, I don't know if it would matter to hide a hook or not if it was special because you could see them. But I could see how people maybe would want a regular hook, maybe the ability to turn it on and off. But I think there's some killers where it just when you log in or you start up the match, you know who it is within the first, 5 or so seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know. This could be something that behavior is going to like push out in the future. Maybe that's what they're going to move towards is custom hooks. Maybe they're trying it out with Alien.
True. Yeah, I don't think I would want it on all of them, but maybe if it didn't matter if you knew who it was or not, I could see it being okay then. But part of the reason people play killer is to sneak up on people, and I wouldn't want that ruined because that's a fun game mechanic.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that was talked about a lot was the cost. So, what'd you guys think of the cost? How about Morbid? What'd you think of the cost of this chapter?
Honestly, for me, I didn't think it was too bad. It was $11.99 US. It's obviously more than past DLCs, but is also a large franchise. So I'm assuming that the owners of the franchise probably took a pretty sizable chunk. And I mean, in order to recoup costs, they probably had to charge more. Or who knows, maybe they just decided people are going to buy it. Let's make it really expensive. But I thought it was fine. It wasn't horribly expensive. It wasn't like $20, which I think would have been overpriced. But I think it was somewhat reasonable just because of its size, like how popular it is and all that kind of stuff. What about you, Mockingbird?
I didn't really think anything of the price. I mean, yeah, it's $12. And the last time we had a $12 chapter was Stranger Things, but that was several years ago. And like Morbid, you brought up, it's a major franchise. So yeah, it's more expensive. It's been several years since Stranger Things too. So cost of like everything, if you haven't noticed, has gone up. But I think they've also put a lot of work into this chapter. Also, like we talked about the custom hooks. Also with the $12, you did get a cosmetic for Ellen Ripley. You got her another cosmetic. I think it's from the second Alien movie. So you did like get something else, not just the two characters. And I mean, they did a lot of work on the map and adding tunnels to all the maps. So I feel like the work they put in for the chapter kind of justifies the cost. And if you have an issue with the cost, you don't have to buy it. It's totally optional. I didn't have a problem with the cost. I was kind of surprised other people had a problem with the cost.
I agree. I didn't have a problem with the cost either. for what you're getting, right? You're getting basically, as everyone kind of mentioned, a big franchise, household name kind of franchise, and I feel like they put a lot into it, so I didn't really bat an eye. I did do it through Steam. Again, if the cost is an issue, then maybe can you use shards?
No.
Use shards to get,
It has to be
what
orc
you want.
cells.
Org cells. Oh man,
But
org cells. But still worth it.
but other like you could also when it came out, lots of content creators were giving away codes and
Oh,
stuff. Like you could
tons of
always
codes.
try to win it, or
Yeah.
if you don't win it now, you can wait till the future. Maybe it will go on sale. But I didn't
Very
think
true.
anything. I didn't think anything of the cost. I thought it was fine. And I
Yeah.
know it's probably going to get compared to like Stranger Things because you got 2 survivors there, but that was a while ago, sadly. Like,
Yeah, I know.
and Stranger Things is not on the same level of franchise as Alien. So,
Very true. No, I agree. I think it's worth it if you're getting it through Steam. Pretty solid chapter. But some cool things that did come out with chapter in the game are some cosmetics that came out for the alien. I want to talk about.
yeah.
So they released 3 cosmetics. They released the the Xenomorph clone, which looks disgusting. I
It's the fleshy looking one, right?
It's fleshy looking. It looks like it has like teeth out of its tail. Very unfinished, but it's a clone. I guess it's supposed to look like that. Then there's a really interesting one. There's the grid Xenomorph, which from my understanding is kind of an homage to, I guess, Alien versus Predator.
It's in Alien versus Predator, I think.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Like it's actually in the movie.
In the movie.
Yeah, like he gets a net thrown on him and
Uh-huh.
it makes the
Yeah.
good impression. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I'm a little rusty. I did go watch a clip though. You can go watch clips on YouTube, and because I checked, and yeah, it's from.
Maybe
I
I
think
need
that
to
one's
from
a
the movie.
pretty
clip.
it's like one of those memorable scene kind of things.
And I'm gonna list the other one. Then we're gonna come back to grid Xenomorph though, and then there's the absolutely stunning Xenomorph Queen, who is just like dump truck thick. She's gorgeous.
She's tall.
She is so tall.
The headpiece is so tall.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
She is
gorgeous, though.
stunning in game. The first time we played a game and I saw her running at me, I freaked out. But it is a stunning cosmetic. So I think they did a really good job on the alien cosmetics. Do you guys have any additional thoughts before I take us back to Grid Xenomorph?
I think they're great.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're all well done. I mean, I don't know about the clone one as much.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where the clone one's from.
My least favorite.
But the Queen, 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say.
Oh yeah. The
10 out of
Queen
10.
one, I was looking at them as they were like released and stuff, and she's amazing. Like whoever did the art for these, they crushed it. They did a good job.
And to go back to Grid Xenomorph, there's now been a lot of speculation, tinfoil hat time, guys, that this is just more proof that Predator may be coming to DVD. And I know we made a joke in one of our episodes where we talked about that if Predator comes, you should have an Alien versus Predator match, which I still want.
Yes.
I agree.
But I feel like we're speaking Predator into existence now. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, why would you release something that came from the Alien versus Predator movie? Do you think that they're being sneaky and they're trying to let us know something's coming up? Mocking, what do you think?
I think, well, I'm not sure. They could be teasing Predator. If they are, I'm hoping there'll be some time in between. Like, it's not like the next thing coming. Like, save it for like a year when like people have kind of like forgotten. Like, oh yeah, we had Grid, right? And then they'd be like, boom, here's Predator. But I think it'd be cool if Predator came in. I'm not very knowledgeable on Predator, but it would be cool to tie it all in. But it could just also be a ploy to get everyone talking about it and get excitement and hype. So I think it'd go either way. It would be good they got Predator. I'm not against it if they brought him in. What about you, Morbid?
Yeah, I agree. I think he would be a great killer, especially for his like stealth abilities. I don't know like if they're, like you said, trying to give us like little Easter eggs, or if they're just trying to pick like the xenomorphs. I forgot the right word.
Memorable.
Yeah, like they're more
Iconic.
memorable. Yeah, iconic's a good one. Yeah, like they're iconic world. I see there, like the iconic looks of Alien and Xenomorph, and because people love Alien versus Predator. That's like an iconic duo, you know. So they're like, hey, let's do that, and then they're like, you know, maybe we'll add them in here, but we don't know, you know. So I'm. There are a lot of looks though, so I'm excited to see what else they borrow from as far as the Xenomorph. But I do think Predator would be super cool.
I agree. I feel like they keep teasing it because I still secretly feel like Lady Voldemort was supposed to be Predator.
Oh, I was thinking that too. Like,
I
why don't
mean,
we
it's
just delete her and put
definitely.
him in? Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely something that people want. Like, he's been talked about a lot. So we'll see, I guess.
Oh, and another thing to talk about as well is from the PTB to now, there was a change in the Xenomorph's music. So originally, and I guess Morbid, you said people were kind of equating it to like windshield wipers.
Yes. There was a video that like showed both of them, or like you could hear both of them, you know, back to back, and everyone in the comments was like, "Oh, it sounded like windshield wipers." And now, the more I listen to it, the more I hear it.
That's all you can hear now.
Yeah, I just hear windshield wipers going back and forth.
I guess from reading the comments, it was also supposed to be like an homage to the siren sounds in the Alien movie on the ship, but it was kind of very windshield wipery, high pitched. To be honest, when I'm being chased or playing like the game, I don't notice the music too much. So they did have to like send me mocking sent me a video. Like,
I know
here's the changes. It's
you're
so
like,
different.
you're like, it changed. I'm like, yeah, it changed.
I was just trying to live.
Which I do remember when we played PTB, like I was like, oh, this is an interesting like sound, you know, as a chase music, but then I didn't think anything of it after that.
Yeah, I was just trying to put a flame turret, so I wasn't paying attention. But there is a vast difference. I do think the new music is not as high pitched. It's not as windshield wipery. It's a little more intense. They put some bass in there. But overall, do you guys like the change? Do you wish they would have kept like kind of homage to the alarm on the ship? What are your thoughts, Morbid?
I think that they should have kept it, or maybe like integrated the two, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe made it less squeaky or like kind of in your ears. I say face, but the new one's not bad, but it also doesn't really give me alien vibes. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, it's another chase music thing. I thought the other one was memorable, but I could see how it annoyed some people.
What about you, Mocking?
So I liked the original for the most part. I felt like it was very intense. But yeah, I could also see how it would be kind of annoying to hear it constantly. So I don't know if there would have been a way, like y'all mentioned, like to dumb it down a bit or make the pitch lower, still give it kind of that alarm feel, like the repeating alarm, but just not as high pitched, I think would have been good. Because I feel like you just said, the new chase music is not very memorable for Alien. Like, it's not bad. It's not a bad tune, but I just hearing it, I wouldn't automatically equate it like with Alien as I would the first original chase music.
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to see kind of how I feel as we go against Alien after Alien after Alien, because apparently that's the only killer in DBD right now.
No, I played last night and there were other killers. There's other killers, but this weekend it was just like Alien all the time, and I was like, I am like tired.
All weekend.
I was
Alien.
like, oh.
It's not Alien. It's Alien's tail. That's all it is. People like the tail.
They just want to smack people with the tail.
Yeah.
I'm curious if they're gonna nerf the tail or something, or the cooldown. I don't know, or the range. I don't know.
The range. I think the range is too long.
Because I was able, like I said, depends. Like I went against some, like, obviously people are learning alien. I went against people that were not good with the tail, but that's on the killer side, right?
Mhm.
Like if they're bad with their power, then they're bad with their power. But then we went against really good aliens, and then it's like I don't know how to counter it because it's like that TikTok you posted. It's like if I go for the window and vault, I'm screwed and I get hit. If I fake it, he just turns and like hits me with the tail still. Like there's some mind gaming, but it sometimes just feels unwinnable. And then they can still M1 you, like if you get too close. So it's like you can't make distance because the tail goes so far. You can't stay close because they can just still M1. So, and I also think it's interesting we didn't talk about the power, like that the alien goes into runner mode automatically. Like you have no control over when you're in runner mode or not. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if I like it or not. Like I do play some killer. Like I don't know if I'd rather like choose when I go into runner mode, if that makes sense.
Like if there was an option.
But I don't
I
know.
can see that, yeah. I think it's like I feel like Alien. So like back in the day, DVD, before like all the looping and text and stuff. I'm sure people was like, you just gotta hide and make sure the killer doesn't find you. It's a big game of hide and seek. That's why I feel like it's the only way you can counter Alien. You have to have a lot of distance to kind of get anywhere. And if you don't, then you're going to get hit. So it doesn't matter if you're up close. Like I have escaped the tail by going up close, I guess FOV tech, like field of view, right? But then again, the alien then just M1 me.
Yeah.
It got confused for a moment when it did get me with the tail. And then I was like, oh, you're in my face. Let me just hit you with my claw. So yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, I know when we were playing the other day when it was back to back aliens, it kind of just started to get miserable. And in reality, we're just like, what do we want to do until we die?
Let's go cleanse all the
Right, it's
totems.
coming.
Let's go. Yeah, let's
We might
cleanse
as well
all the
just
totems.
do something fun.
Let's hide in the corner. I
It's
was
like,
able
who
to get
wants
hatched.
Hatch? I was like, who wants
Yeah,
Hatch?
it was like, and normally ended up between me and Mocking left and deciding who got hatch or not.
Which
When
is
we
no
played
fun.
when we play
Yeah.
duos, man, it's just
Yeah.
me and Queen left. Like, and it's like, what do you want to do now? We're like at 3 gens still. Like,
We have had
dead?
some duos where we were at 2 to 3 gens and we did get out. So we're occasionally we do well. A lot of times it's the figuring out who's going to sacrifice and who's going to try to wait for hatch.
Yeah.
Or sometimes our characters just go in a corner and make out.
Oh,
And I'm
our
just
ships.
watching, or I'm
Our
just,
ships. Yeah.
I'm just spectating
He's
because I got
watching after
tunneled out of the
dying.
game.
Oh, good times, good
I
times.
know, right?
Y'all can
We do
guess
have
what
some.
our ships are.
Yeah. Michaela. So we do have some other chapter changes to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to Mocking because she's had some interesting experiences lately.
Yeah, this is falling on me. So I did post some videos on our YouTube. We have a YouTube channel if you're on Spotify where we also post the episodes, but I also do use our episode for or our channel for some other things. But first, before we get to that, one thing they changed is they have hidden prestige levels when you're in a lobby. So killers cannot see survivor prestige levels, and survivors can't see other survivors' prestige levels. So you can see them at the end of the match when you get like all the scoring, but prestige levels have been confirmed that they were hidden on purpose. The devs have said that on Twitter or Reddit. I saw that they responded to the question and they said, yeah, they're experimenting with this. So you will no longer know if you're going against a P100 Nea with a flashlight. So what do you
becomes a Nea with a flashlight?
Just a Nea. So what do you think of the change? Let's start with Morbid.
I think it's kind of good because didn't they do this with your prestige level or not prestige level, your
Your
what was it?
rank. You
Your
used to
rank.
see rank. You used to say like red rank was like the thing when we
Yeah,
first started
so
playing.
yeah, so if you've been around that long, I remember red rank, or the ranking system was a big thing, and if you saw red rank, everybody's like, "Oh my God," they'd freak out. And I feel like the P100 kind of made it to that level, but then it's also doesn't mean you're good at the game. It just means you play the game a lot, or you earn a lot of blood points and you max the person out. But I think it's kind of a good change, in my opinion, just because I do think some people leave lobbies if they see maybe a P100 and they're like, oh my God, like I can't play with this person. So I don't know if that's why they did that or if they had another reason. They never explain these things to us. They just they just do them. And then they're like, oh, here you go. We did this for you. It's like, okay, but why?
Yeah, this
At
was
least
not in the patch
I have,
notes.
yeah, like I have whys. Like I'm sure other people are curious too. So I don't know. Like I said, I'd be curious to know their reasoning. But also, I mean, I don't see a point in really knowing what everybody else's prestige level is. It doesn't change the game for me, really. How about you guys?
Yeah, I want to know why as well, because kind of like you mentioned, we have had, some P100s in our lobbies. Fangs are big P100s. And anytime I see a P100, I'm like, either this game's going to go very well or it's going to go very bad.
Yeah.
Like there's not an in between. Um, and for the most part, I think other than maybe stopping tunneling, because when I did get Michaela to higher levels, I did notice that sometimes the killer would try to tell me out, thinking that I knew how to play the game. Well,
Mhm.
no,
Joke's on them.
joke's on you.
Yes, Queen's a
I'm
very competitive player.
if you find me in my locker. I keep being told by Mocking I need to run head on if I'm going to go in lockers.
I
Yes.
second this. I second this.
You got pulled out the other day.
We're
Yeah,
gonna need
I
you to be
didn't
useful
know
in that
the
locker.
alien's going to come back. It's like when it works, and when it doesn't, it goes very bad.
It's like the
Um,
P100. Like
yes,
it's
the
good or it's
P100.
bad.
I really don't think it makes a difference because, as Morbid mentioned, uh, you know, having a high level character just means that you just poured all your blood points into them. It doesn't necessarily equate to skill. So, kind of what's the point of having it there in the first place, especially if it determines we have had randos in matches ruin the game or sandbag us because we were higher level, again, killers tunneling out because we're higher level, or not being a high enough level and people blaming the game on us. So, really, there's no point to it other than, hey, it's cool to have this level. So
Yeah.
it doesn't affect gameplay. But again, if they're noticing these things, and that's the big thing, if behavior is noticing that something negative has happened because they're showing the levels, then I think that's something to bring to the community as well. Because we can't make changes if we don't know what's happening on the back end or what they're discovering. So it'd be nice to have some communication on what's going on and the reasoning behind it. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, what about all the content creators doing their like, I went against a P100 Swift and
Mm-hmm.
all that content? There is that content out there where,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree. I don't think P100 means a whole lot. I mean, red rank also back in the day also just meant you played the game a lot. If you played the game enough, you could get to red rank.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same thing. It's like a time commitment,
That's
and
right.
with P100, it's a blood point commitment. And I personally don't really care about P100ing a character. I spread my points kind of
Mm-hmm.
almost evenly. There's a couple characters I'm not getting past level, prestige 3, but I don't really think. I think they're trying to, because I mean, what did we just talk about? Like all these perceptions of like what a
Mm-hmm.
P100 is. And I think that's why they took it
Mhm.
off so that killers don't know, survivors don't know. And so you're kind of just getting mixed all together. And it kind of, now I just thought about it, kind of reminds me of like when they didn't have MMR anymore, right? Before
Mm-hmm.
MMR. Like,
Oh,
let's just
right.
throw
Yeah.
people in there and not know what you're getting. I would love if they turn MMR off. Do that behavior. Let's just have craziness. But anyway,
we
I
had
think
some
it's
interesting matches.
I get tunneled anyway.
happened.
Just let me die in peace.
so. I think this could be a good thing. We'll see
Mm-hmm.
what everyone thinks. The community feedback, if they ever ask for community feedback, we shall see. The other thing, well, a brief history. The other thing we're going to talk about is Survivor Vaults. So they had like buff Survivor Vaults not too long ago, and survivors rejoiced. It was great. It overall felt good for Survivor. Killers probably didn't like it as much, obviously, but I think it was overall a good change. But when they did that, it became noticeable that the male survivors vaulted farther than the female survivors. So
Rude.
it is rude.
Right? What is this?
What is
Sexism.
I mean, I know they're a little shorter for the most part, but still, like, they could just make it
Sexism.
even.
In this economy, in
this eco-
2023.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, they're trying to like fix it, I guess, and they made it really bad. Surprise, surprise. So now the female characters, when they vault, they're like right outside the window. They're like right by it. Like you could probably hit them through the window afterwards. Now
Yeah.
the male characters do jump farther. I think they're back to kind of the normal spacing, but the females are not. What are our thoughts on this? Queen, let's start with you this time.
It's like you're slow vaulting the window when you're fast vaulting. I've had games where we're vaulting and they're like, why'd they grab us? I swear my feet were on the other side. But it's not, because even though you fast vaulted, you're there. It could be why I had that down in Midwich from vaulting the window with the tail. I still think that was very tail related, but
It could be the hitbox.
yeah, the hitbox. But I don't understand. So this is another thing. Like they go in to fix stuff and it just makes something worse. I don't understand how that kind of thing happens. I think when initially the changes came out, it was great. People were like, we vault so fast, we go so far. I thought it was a fair balance, especially for some of the newer killers coming out, where they can easily shoot you with their little pods or hit you with their tail, or God forbid, have a drone somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Um, that it's nice to have some advantages as a survivor without having to be worried about getting pulled off a window or hit through the window. That I don't know why behavior does this. I genuinely get flabbergasted when stuff like this happens. 'Cause I've been watching videos and it's kind of like you just didn't evolve at all. It's kind of just like you just slid out the window. Like I hope they fix it and make it the way it was because that was enjoyable.
What about you, Morbid?
Yeah, I was gonna say this explains so much as to why I've been having issues with vaulting. I just thought it was normal.
Like I thought it was
But
me, but it's not.
I thought I
yeah,
forgot how to vault.
I was like, wow, I suck at this game all of a sudden. But that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the only thing I could think of is a coding issue. But then you would think that when they ran it, because they probably test this, right? After they do their, well, okay, we will assume that they test their game after they do their coding. But who knows? I could be completely wrong.
Get
So I don't know
code.
how they broke it, why they broke it. I don't know if it has something to do with their base code that they use, because I know that that was a contentious issue that we might talk about at a later episode. But I know that their base coding isn't the best, so I don't know if that affects all of their other coding in the future that they do. I don't know. I've watched people make games. I don't know how to make them myself, so I'm not sure what exactly they're doing wrong that kind of breaks things so easily, and then they take forever to either address them or fix them. So hopefully they'll fix this one because it's annoying me.
Yeah.
It's just weird how they're saying like they'll come out and they'll be like, okay, guys, we fixed this perk. Now 3 maps are down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does that happen? I don't get how you going in, or it's happened before, like they went in and fixed the map and then a perk stopped working.
Hmm.
Like, how are they even related? I don't get
They're
this.
never
Like,
related either. It's
yeah,
like the weirdest
Yeah.
thing. It'll be like, we updated the hillbilly, so now like these 3 perks don't work anymore. Like, it's like, what? Like,
we updated
Which
the hillbilly, now your character walks backwards. Well, doesn't make
basically,
any sense.
which I don't understand why these things don't come out in the PTB. I know it's not like as live, obviously, because not everybody downloads it. But I don't know, because like you said, they post it, it comes out, everyone gets on it, and then yeah, like 8 maps stop working. It's like, what happened? What'd you guys do? So
yeah,
I,
one
I
map is down right now, I believe, isn't it? Since
I
Alien came out.
think
Um,
so.
mhm. Is it
Oh,
Red Forest?
I will say is one of the Red
I
Forest
think it's one of the Red
maps.
Forest.
I'd
So the
have to
Because
map
I,
look.
offering is disabled.
yeah, the map offering's disabled,
I think
which is
it's
weird. Why?
I think it's the
Like,
Huntress one. I don't know. It's either Huntress or Plague. Anyway, I have no idea. But see, like Alien came out and a map is
Alien
broken.
And
ruined
now
it for
everything is
everybody except
broken.
Lady Voldemort's map is still up. Go figure.
Yeah. And like the thing is, so in what we're talking about right now, like none of this was in the patch notes. Everything we're
Yes.
talking about in this section I'm covering, none of it's in the patch notes. Like the Survivor Vaults, the Hidden Prestige, the next couple things we're going to talk about. So it was not in PTB, and they didn't put it in the patch notes. That we've got changes that everyone's just discovering as they're playing the game.
People
Yeah.
think it was broken. That's what people are
Yeah, look,
thinking.
they even broke the patch notes. You couldn't download the update on PlayStation 5 for a
Oh, the
couple
bug
hours.
fix. Yeah, the bug fix.
So that's
um,
fun.
Another small update they did was
Small.
to RPD. The opening to the outside area is now wider, so killers cannot body block it. I'm guessing is why they did that. And I was on the map, and it
Rude.
is huge. It is a huge opening now. This was a small update, but I think it's probably a good one because now killers can't
Yeah.
body block that entryway, like in game. You know, you hook right there. You can't get the survivor off the hook, I think is the idea. Is so then now they've widened it so you can run around. Any thoughts on this? This was a small change, but it was also not
Yeah.
notes. But it is, I think it's a good map change.
These are all things I didn't know.
Morbid,
no one
Morbid went on
knew.
vacation and doesn't know what's
Yeah,
going
she
on.
comes back, doesn't know what's going on.
She's like,
The
And
whole
no one
game's
knew.
broken.
She's like, vaults are broken. Like, I leave for a week and everything
I
is
know.
broken.
What did
It's
you
probably
guys
because you
do?
left. Okay.
Yeah.
Morbid Plum
I
goes
broke
on
the game.
vacation, map stop working.
Sorry, guys.
How's that related behavior? I mean, in regards to the door change, it is a massive change. I can understand them doing it because of like the body blocking and stuff, but at the same time, survivor wise, there was that little nook you could kind of hide in. If the
Mm-hmm.
killer didn't look down, they wouldn't see you, but you could also body block for that one hook. And make it harder for the killer to get through the door, especially if you down the pallet that's right there and they would have to go around. I guess give and take. It does look more open. I think it does give you, because there's that gin that sits outside for those who kind of wonder what we're talking about. The outside gin, that by the main exit gate, that door is what we're talking about that heads to the gin. So it would give you a better field of view, especially for like a stealth killer or something, because I don't think there's anything for them to hide behind either. I'll take it. I mean, anything that increases the field of view for a survivor, I think overall is good. But I still think that there were things that survivors could do there in the past that they can't do now. But if the main issue, again, we don't know because they didn't tell us why they did it. If the main issue was due to killers body blocking that hook, then I can
Yeah.
see how it's a positive change. But no one knows. It's a mystery.
Like
Um,
everything else, it's a
yeah.
mystery.
Do you have
Those
any
are my thoughts.
thoughts? Do you have any thoughts, Morbid?
No, I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like, if it's something that, fixes a problem, sure, I'm all for it.
Okay, so the last thing to talk about under other changes is something that was very confusing.
Dun,
When
dun,
I feel like this is story time. So in playing after the Alien chapter, I was playing solo and I was running wiretap because I needed to do gens with other people, and wiretap is great for letting people know where you are. So I'm running it. I get the meter filled and the prompt doesn't come up to install wiretap. And so I think it's a bug. So next round I play, I put Blast Mine on. I'm like, I wonder if this affects Blast Mine. And I was recording, so I recorded the wiretap bug. I sent a ticket to behavior. Whole support ticket, whole 9 yards with a video clip, which you can see the video clips
Ooh,
on our
fancy.
YouTube. Next round I played Blast Mine to see if it was bugged as well. And what do you know? I get the meter filled up and you can't install it. And it's just, I'm like, what is going on? They broke our favorite perks, of course. These are some of our favorite perks.
We love them.
But when I was editing the clip for the Blast Mine, I noticed when I got off the gen, the prompt came up. And I thought, oh, that's weird. It must be bugged. I still think it's bugged, right? And it's also the wrong action button to install it to, which is really weird. It's actionability too. But I didn't notice it in the actual round. It was when I rewatched it because the killer was coming. So I was just like, panic mode, get off the gen.
Yeah.
So I put that clip up. I submitted another ticket to behavior. Okay. And I got responses on both tickets. It took they weren't super fast to respond initially. It took 3 days. But then after that, I started getting responses. They wanted, my cloud ID. They asked me to send them the logs from the game. So I had to go in and get those and send them to them. Basically, they never gave me an actual answer. They basically, at the end of, they told me, I'm pulling up the email. So they say, first off, I'd like to express our deep appreciation for your enthusiasm and efforts towards CBD by sending us a video, logs, and giving us relevant details on the matter. This doesn't make sense. This information is, now I'm rereading this. This sentence is not written properly. These information are crucial in helping our team fix any bugs and making players' gaming experience a lot better. So thank you. You're welcome, behavior.
Look what you did. You helped them.
While we won't be able to give you a timeline as to when you can expect the fix to happen, we greatly appreciate your contribution to this. We're constantly on the lookout for new issues that may also arise with your help and that of many other players. Basically, it was a thank you. We're not going to tell you anything. In the case, they closed the ticket. So in doing some research, trying to see if other people have had this issue, there is a forum post. If you don't know, Behavior has forums, and there is a forum just for reporting bugs. And I went on there and I found out that a lot of other people had this issue, but I had to find the original forum post because they closed duplicate posts. And in the original post, I didn't pull it up. I don't think a dev actually responded, but basically people were saying they had changed the perks. So you have to be off the gen and you can install the trap. There's no more 3 seconds of being on the gen to install the trap. And they actually took that out of the description. So that's no longer in the description. So if you weren't familiar with Blast Mine and Wiretap, you had to do 50% of the gen and then you could install the trap. Or if you get on another gen, you have to be on it for 3 seconds before you can install it. So they took off the 3 seconds, but nowhere in the description does it say get off the gen, or the prompt will show up when you're not touching the gen. Also, it says to install it, it's active ability 1, and it's not programmed with active ability 1, it's programmed to active ability 2. And Queen and I tested it, and so the perks do work. Oh, the other thing one thing that doesn't work with the perks is that when you install the trap, it's supposed to be highlighted for everyone, right? Including the person running it. Well, right now, it does not highlight for the person running the perk. So I could not see the gen I had put the Blast Mine on.
Oh, great.
But when we did our custom, Queen could. And when we did, I ran it live too. We played a match and I ran it and she could see it, but I couldn't. It is definitely not
interesting
working as it should. this was also not in the patch notes. And it's kind of a weird change because you would think to install something on a gen, you would like need to touch it.
Yeah, you'd be on it.
It makes more sense. I don't know if they're trying to make it like stealthy. Like, are you putting it on the gen? I don't know. So that was a whole long tale. But I submitted 2 tickets. They're both closed and no answers. The most answers I got was from the forum post.
Hey, Mocking, did you get anything by submitting those tickets?
Yeah.
Okay, so only one. Okay, so if they ask for your Cloud ID number, they can give you blood points. I got 50k blood points. That was kind of it.
Hush money.
It's not hush money. I think it's like, thank you for taking the time to go into your settings and pull the logs like we told you to.
Oh.
Because there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of sending. Like after the first response, they were very responsive in like replying and being like, thank you, giving us this, give us this. Like, how long have you had the issues and stuff? It's like every match it's an issue. Like, what map were you on? Like, so I had 2 different tickets, so 2 different representatives, and they asked different some of the information they asked for was the same, then some were different. Like, one asked me like, well, what map were you on? What killer were you going against? And the other one didn't. But they both asked for my logs, so they have my game logs. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Hopefully they can see our custom match, Queen, and be like, oh.
There you go. Maybe
know.
they'll give you more money.
So.
I say money. Blood points.
Blood points. 50k. Woohoo. It's like a game and a half. So what are y'all's thoughts?
I think it's weird. I just don't understand. Because even if it is a bug, say something. Let us know it's a bug. And that's the reason why you made those changes. Because a lot of us, I know, at least for how we play, when we're running like Wiretap and Blastmine, we really try to wait to the last possible second to put it on there. And no one knew. So we're like, why can't we put it on? The killer's coming. And that's how we play. Like, we like to put Wiretap on so whoever's running knows what's going on. We like to put Blast Smite on because it just makes our hearts happy when the killer kicks the gen. And it changes the gameplay completely when you're expecting to be able to be on the gen and do it. I know it's not a super big change, but those couple seconds, I don't know, milliseconds, it takes you to get off the gen and put it back on. That's you not repairing the gen. And I know it's very minimal, but if you have a killer coming to you and you're deciding to stick the gen, that is the difference between them hitting you or not hitting you because you had to get off the gen momentarily. I personally don't like it. I think gameplay wise, it doesn't make sense when you're already on the gen, fixing it and repairing it, to have to get off and stand next to the gen. You kind of lose some immersion there as well because you think you would have to be on it to put the trap on it. I just wish that they would say like, yes, it's broken, or they would say like, yes, we changed it. I'm not a fan. I don't know. Morbid, what are your thoughts? Yeah, I know you haven't played it yet, but you run them with us.
Yes, but like hearing it is kind of just knowing that that's an issue is annoying because, like you said, you get so into the moment. You're like, oh, I'm gonna put it on, and then it's like, why isn't it working? And you're just pressing the button, and I can see why it would upset people. But it's also weird that they didn't say anything. And then also, can they turn it off if it's bugged? I mean, they turn off everything else.
They can
so
kill
like,
switch, yeah.
like they could potentially kill switch it. So
unless
I
it
don't know
switches the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might.
Like, why didn't they ever kill switch Merciless Storm?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that one.
Yeah, I was thinking that was what I was thinking of. It's like, at what point do they just let it keep going and snowballing and getting worse and worse? And then, of course, killers find a way to, well, some, I don't, not all killers, because there's a lot of good killers out there, or will find a way to exploit that, And it's one of those weirder things that they're just like, if we pretend that it's not there, it'll go away.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes that's not always the case.
No, and it was just really confusing. Like, really, the perks are not like super broken. Like, they still technically work. Wiretap still shows the aura of the killer. Last Mine still works, but it's just the function is not as it should be, because nowhere in the description does it say get off the gen to place this trap. So just getting into a match right after Alien release and being like, why can't I use this perk? Why isn't it installing? Like, it was just very confusing. And if I didn't go out and seek the information right on the forums, trying to figure out, is this broken? Is it bugged? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know if it's needs to be kill switched, but it definitely needs to be like announced, like that the functionality has changed to the perk, because it's just confusing, and then people think it's broken. I kind of wanted to bring up, like we just brought up Merciless Storm. It was never kill switch. It was never addressed in any way, and that was super broken. That was like game breaking. Doctors playing skill check perks and
Worst
like
couple weeks ever.
But they never addressed
Kill
it. And I
switch,
feel like everything we've talked about, my little section we covered, none of this was in the patch notes. We want behavior to be transparent with us, right? And what changes they're doing. All changes they're doing.
Yeah.
Like just mention like RPD, we updated the doorway in the map. Usually they do update us on those kinds of changes. In the past they have. So I find it really strange that there were like a lot of like some of them small, some of them big, like changes that were not in the patch notes at all.
I mean, I agree. And this is actually a great lead in to one of the other things we want to talk about is due to a lot of these changes, like with the buff to Alien, having a hard time countering, having some of the survivor stuff, like the turrets kind of nerfed, and all these changes that people weren't told about. A lot of people went to another game.
Oh.
A lot of people were like, you know what? We're going to stop playing DBD for a while. They needed a DBD break. And like Mocking said, they went to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I feel like that's a good segue.
There we go. Yeah, let's talk. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. Woo!
Woo woo!
So for those not familiar, I'll give a brief summary. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another asymmetrical horror game based off the movie, obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it's a 3v4. So there's 3 family members, which are your killers, basically, and then there's 4 victims, and the victims are trying to escape from, there's 3 maps right now. There's the house, the slaughterhouse, and the gas station map. And so there's 4 exits that the victims can escape through. They have to get tools to unlock doors. There's other items they can use, bone shards, to attack family members. But basically the victim's goal is to get through an exit. Of course, the family's goal is to kill them. And so we have, every match has to have a Leatherface. So you'll see Leatherface in every match. And then there's other family members. Cook, Sissy, Johnny, and the Hitchhiker are the other family members. And they all have their own unique abilities and perks. And victims have their own special abilities too. They have a star sign ability. And there's also Grandpa. Family members have Grandpa as well, which they feed blood to. And Grandpa can show the aura of victims if they're moving, and if you get him maxed out, you can't hide from Grandpa. He shows your aura no matter if you're moving or you're still. So that's kind of a brief summary of the game, and we've played it a bit. I've played it a lot. I don't know if I've played it the most, but
Watched you play it a lot. Yes.
Why don't we give some general thoughts on the game? Who wants to start?
I can start.
Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed it when I played it. I have not played Victim yet. I've been having a lot of fun playing Family, that killer. You know, instead of a Swift, we're Quiff. Kill with friends. We're quiffing. I think it's fun. I feel like, especially when you're communicating, like when we played some matches where it was just like me and Mocking, and I think a big part of the game is you have to communicate. If you're not communicating, you can really, especially if your family, lose really badly, especially if the victims are really fast at getting out and doing stuff. But for the most part, when the 3 of us have played together, we've had really fun matches, fun times. I'll tell you what, Mocking's really good with that chainsaw. Sometimes we're just waiting to see if the victims are going to even make it out of the basement to us.
Guess what? Guess what? I got Instasaw this weekend, so I
Oh,
can.
that's okay.
Ooh.
So what you're saying is we need to play some more.
Yes, I got the 1 rev
Nice.
chainsaw.
That is awesome. But I've had a really good time playing the game. I still think there are things that probably need to be fixed with it, but for right now, it's been really enjoyable learning how to play all the family members and learning the maps and stuff. So those are my thoughts. What about you, Morbid?
Yeah, so I'm the same. I was excited for this one to come out, I think, with all of us. And when me and Mocking played like the first day that I think it came out, we had a lot of issues.
Oh.
But I feel
Mhm.
like they've kind of worked themselves out a little bit. It's not perfect. I mean, it was brand new, so of course you're gonna have match issues and server issues. We kept getting kicked from each other's parties and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
but all growing pains, right? But I've had so much fun playing. I have only mostly played the I say killer the family side. I think we played the survivor people like twice, and I died like immediately, so I don't like it. It's hard. I thought it was going to be easier. I was like, man, it's going to be way easier, right? And no, it was very difficult to try and stay quiet, try to stay out of like the family members places, and then just once they catch you, it's like it almost feels like a little bit impossible to like get out of their grasp. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so stressful. So yeah, I definitely enjoy playing a family member a lot more. I don't know, it's enjoyable. It's a different dynamic, obviously, than Dead by Daylight. It's similar but different, if that makes any sense. I like the animations. Like when you kill somebody, they're so graphic.
Mm-hmm.
And violent, which I'm sure violates someone's terms of service somewhere. But they're I don't know, it's just a cool game, and I think they did a good job doing it, and it's a nice break. Obviously, if working together as a team is a lot more fun. I feel like it'd be hard to play family member solo just because you really can't communicate. You can't like run around and get people like, oh, he's coming around the front of the house. So it's definitely more enjoyable, I think, with friends. But I liked playing it. I do feel like there's something missing, but I don't know what it is. Just because I haven't played it as much as maybe Mocking has. But yeah, I don't know. There's something little that I feel like is missing from the game.
So the game
But
does
yeah.
have voice chat, which I didn't mention.
People aren't using it.
Oh, true. That's
It
right.
it's
But
so like yeah, a lot of people aren't using it. I have had people use it, but it's very rare. Like
Mhm.
I've had maybe a handful of games where people are using the mics. And I mean, I've won games without using us talking together, but I feel like that's more on the victims because if you get good victims, they will like destroy you. And I
oh
think a
yeah,
lot of it is knowing the maps too. I think that was probably our problem with victim is also knowing the maps
good point.
and knowing where stuff typically spawns. Okay, well, let me throw this out. So they came out with a patch the other day. So before the patch, when I play solo, I just do quick match, like put me in wherever. And this weekend, I only had one victim match. Everything else was family, which tells me a lot of people are playing victim.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Since they put it in the patch, last night I played and I got a couple of family and a lot of victim matches. So it's kind of varied up. And why that is they came out with a patch. They're trying to deal with hackers. Hackers are an issue.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
They have turned off crossplay. PC cannot play with anyone else. Why, I'm not so sure. And a lot of people are upset about this. And I can understand why. Like, we all play PC, so it doesn't really affect us. But a lot of people on Twitter, I've seen comments were like upset. Like, I can't play with my Xbox friends. Like, this whole point of this game is to play with your friends. And so it's not like it's an option like in DVD. DVD has a crossplay off option that no one uses anymore. But for the most part, people used to turn it off to be competitive. I don't feel like that's really the case
Yeah.
anymore. Anyway, so people are upset because they can't play with their friends. And I understand that because there's friends I play with that are on console on other games like Call of Duty and Fortnite. So
Mhm.
I can understand the frustration of like, well, I can't play with my friends. Now, they said it's temporary. They did not say how long temporary is going to be, though. And I think that may not be a good thing to not say. But I have not encountered a hacker. I don't think there was one match
We
where
had,
I thought was iffy. I don't know, but like
yeah.
as far as like something like crazy, like people flying,
Mhm.
like people taking over. So some of the hacks were like people taking over your character and playing
Oh
as
wow.
you, things like that, or being
Yeah, I don't
invulnerable.
Or
think I've
victims suddenly
had that.
becoming killers.
Yeah, like we had a match where I thought it was questionable, but like I
Yeah.
haven't had like a crazy obvious hack. Let me put it that way.
Oh, that's true. We did have that one match where they got out like almost instantaneously. And
Yeah,
I don't know if they were just that good or if that was a hack, but
yeah. So there's that. So that just happened the other day, that update. So what do you I guess that also what I want to point out is like DVD. I'm going to compare it to DVD for a minute. Like DVD has had hackers in the past.
Mhm.
Obviously, they used to have a big hacking issue, but they never turned off crossplay
hmm.
like this. There's a lot of criticism if they're going to alienate the PC players. Will PC players come back? How long is it going to be off? So, just kind of want to throw out what do y'all have any thoughts about? Should they have done this? Should they not? Do you think there'll be repercussions for turning
Well,
off
I mean,
crossplay?
like, I guess are they trying to contain it to one side? Is that essentially what's happening here?
I believe so. Like that's why they're
Mm.
doing it. There were
Containing it
some,
to PC side?
yeah, and
I'm
they
assuming.
are implementing. I thought in their patch notes they were implementing some like more security stuff, but
Mhm.
still they turned off crossplay.
It just
I
seems like I
yeah.
don't want to say dramatic. It just seems like a big thing. Like we wanted to play with one of our other friends and now we can't because she has it on the Xbox or whatever Game
Mhm.
Oh
Pass.
yeah, she's
And
on Game Pass.
and
Yeah.
it's like, well, now we can't play. So it's kind of like, well, great. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting I don't want to say reaction, but an interesting decision on their part, especially with there's no like timeline of when it's coming back.
Yeah, so I'm
Mhm. Mhm.
rereading the patch notes. So we are temporarily separating PC from console player base and crossplay while we continue to improve our anti-cheat tools and resources.
I mean, if people are
Interesting.
And
gonna hack, people are gonna hack. You might as well let people play the game and have fun with their friends. Because at the most, what you can do, which is cool about the game, is there's no penalty for leaving the lobby.
mm-hmm.
There's no DC
Yeah.
penalty. So if someone is hacking, and I still think that one game we played, someone was. Okay, when we mean instantaneous, we mean we loaded into the match and it's like, Grandpa's awake, door is open.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was that was insane.
I was like,
um,
that
but
was fast.
yeah, I mean, and all we did was just we let them get out and then we went into another match. Like there's no use in crying it over, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I say, which I wish DVD would have done, because I don't think they ever got rid of their penalty. You don't have to worry about this in game because you and your friends can just leave. Like, let us leave,
Yeah.
let us go to another one. Don't turn off crossplay because then you're isolating people. I think the fun part about this game was that you could be killers with your friends. You can't do that in a lot of other games and, ASIM horror games. And that was the big selling point. Let people kill with the friends. Like,
Yeah.
you
Let
know,
me murder with my
and
friends.
yeah, and figure it out because if someone's going to hack, someone's going to hack. I don't know if there's maybe something else going on. Again, transparency.
I mean, they
If
did
there's
say
a
why.
yeah,
They did
why?
say why.
But
It's just I don't know why it's not an option. Why is it
yes,
not optional?
I will risk hackers to play with my friends. And
Same.
sometimes games we've had where people have hacked, they've been really interesting games. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I
um,
mean, and we're not talking like DDoS attacks like DVD had an
yes,
issue with.
no,
Like this is
Yeah,
just
they were
people opening things fast.
it's
yeah, they were
switching
silly.
sides.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
comical.
yeah,
Yeah, they
comical is a good way to
mainly
put
hard.
it. Like yeah, it could be annoying, but like I played most of this weekend. I did not see any hackers. I'm not saying they're not there. I don't know how many people are actually. I
Yeah,
don't know like what percentage of people are actually hacking or if it's just kind of blown
Yeah.
up because content creators are posting about it
that's
and
that's what I was gonna say.
maybe they are getting a lot of hackers, but they also like do it for a living. So they're streaming like several hours every day, right? So they would probably come across more hackers, but me playing like a few hours, on Saturday
Yeah.
and Sunday, doesn't see any issue.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I was saying. I think a lot of content creators, Aaron comes to mind. They have been playing a lot of, just in general, TCM with a lot of other big content creators doing speed runs for Escape as Victims.
mhm.
And a lot of the hacking I've seen has been happening within those types of streams, which makes sense because they're kind of being sniped or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good point. Maybe they are being stream snipe. I know with DVDs,
Yeah,
hackers were able to do that, like get
yeah.
into streamers' lobbies. So
Yeah, they had several games where all of a sudden victims were killers or killers became victims. Like again, comical stuff, but I can understand. And a lot of these people are not streaming like normal times. Like when I'm talking about runs, I'm 8 to 12 hours a day. They
mhm.
were a big group of them were streaming. You're gonna get noticed if it's happening to a lot of content creators because they're grouping up. It might be maybe it's the problem just got bigger than maybe it really was. Like, I don't know. I'm sure on the back end, the creators of the game would know, but things can really get blown up if it's happening to really popular content creators. But yeah, I don't see, just let people play the game, give them the option to turn it on and off for people who maybe don't want to deal with it. But that was the big pull of the game is being able to do crossplay. So
Yeah.
And people
bring
will
it
get
back.
bored eventually, like, of
Yeah.
doing hacking. Right now it's new, so it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hack like crazy, but
Yeah, they get the attention they want. But at the
yeah,
same time, like for us, who people, people like us who like to play the game, a big pull was our whole group getting the game together
yeah,
and being able to play the game. And unfortunately, as of right now, there's some people we haven't had a chance to play with. Just to give you guys some context, we're a group of ladies who have been friends. Some of us since like even elementary school, middle, high school, like we followed each other everywhere. We live all over now. Some of us have kids and we got our jobs and weekly we like to relax and drink some wine or whiskey and play some games together. That's how we de-stress from family. That's how we, say, hey, kids, go play with Legos or something. Or hey, dad, take the kids
Yeah.
for a couple hours so we can
Yeah.
have a ladies' night. And it's just been so disappointing that one of the main games we've been talking about for months and months, that we can't play together. Can we find other stuff to do? Of course. But it's been kind of a bummer. And I'll kind of leave it at that. I'm sure we have to move on. I need to stop lamenting.
So, well, they said it's temporary. Hopefully, maybe by the time this episode comes out, it will be fixed.
Well, there
I
you go.
know they're coming out with their second edition of the Muerto Times is coming out later this
Mhm.
week, which I think is kind of their dev update. Maybe they will have something in that. I don't know if they'll come out tomorrow or Friday. So maybe we'll see something. Here, I'll give a positive. One thing they did fix, which is a big positive, is XP progression was bugged.
Yes.
And it's fixed. So yay. Because
Yay!
I don't know if it was bugged for me because part of the issue I was having with this game initially was the grind aspect, but maybe that was because
Mhm.
the XP stuff was kind of broken. So that's a big plus, right? XP is fixed.
Yeah.
So yay,
Big plus.
positives. And there are other positives in this patch, like bug fixes and freezes. You can now change your key binding on PC. So
Nice.
if you want to
Oh,
change buttons and
nice.
all that, which I've changed my voice chat one because I hate hitting V. Okay, I'm just
Mhm.
gonna say
Same. I'm the same.
because I
Hey,
had
some
trouble. I'm
things
trying
are
to talk to
yeah.
randos and I'm like trying to like kill people. Like this is too many buttons over here. Like so.
Yeah, some buttons just feel more intuitive to other people. So I like
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
you can change that now.
Okay. Well,
Whoop, whoop.
there's one other change I think we should talk about that was interesting. Came out with this patch is that a lobby can now launch with 6 players. So you can have 3v3. You can have 2v4.
Whoa.
Um, and
Mm.
I have not played a match with just 6. All 6 people don't ready up. It will not like automatically load you.
Hmm.
But because I've been in lobbies where we were hanging out with like two family members and 4 victims, and everyone ready up, and it started to start, and someone unready to like, no.
Uh,
So you can cancel out of it really fast, like to give it more the lobby more time, like
Interesting.
because I have not had a lobby like go to 0 on the timer with 6 people. It will fill. Has been my
Yeah.
experience. But I guess if you want to just get in that match right away, it will launch with 6. You do have to have Leatherface. That's still a
If you just
requirement.
can't wait.
If you just can't wait and want to make the game harder, either for family or for victim. I don't know why they did this change. They didn't really say, well, what they said was this change should help lobbies get running smoother, quicker, and with less drops due to incomplete lobbies. Now, I have not, since the server issues have gotten better, like Morbid mentioned at the beginning, like day one, there was lots of server issues. That's been ironed out, I feel like. I have not had any more like
For
getting
sure.
kicked at all. So I think now that that's not an issue, my experience this weekend has been the lobbies have been fine. They've been filling. I think the time that they have for filling the lobby is a little long, but they do get filled. I don't feel like they're never not filled anymore. So it's interesting that they made this change. What do y'all have? Do y'all have thoughts on doing this with 6 people? 3v3 or 2v4?
I definitely wouldn't want to do a 2v4.
Yeah, that doesn't sound that fun.
No, I'd rather have the lobbies. So the lobbies is a little bit of issue for me. How like if no one readied up or someone didn't ready up, you're just being kicked back out, because no one's readying up in the lobby. I really wish it was more like DVD, just have it fill, and then once everyone's there, it just readies up.
Well, it
Um,
does do that in the end. It's just the
yeah, in
time
the end,
limit's longer.
the time limit. Yeah, I want to play a full game. I think that's the whole point of it. I
Yeah.
don't think it's good going into a game where one side is now impacted negatively because
Mhm.
from playing family, I really do feel like you need all three because they all start in different areas and they all do different things. Now, Survivor, I've seen one person after everyone's died still escape. So
Mhm.
so like for Survivor, I'm not sure how impactful that would be because I feel like people could still do stuff, but for
Mhm.
family, I mean, you just have one less person and more chance of you dying as victim essentially with there being someone less.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it should be a full complete lobby. I don't know about starting with just 6, but maybe they're testing it. Maybe it'll be fixed and that kind of as you said, you've had full lobbies,
Mhm.
but I know I would hate to log in no matter what side I was on, load into a match and be down a person.
You have any additional thoughts, Morbid?
Not too many, just it's an odd choice that they went
Mhm.
with to do. Like you said, pretty much everything you guys said is my same thoughts. I couldn't imagine having one less killer. Like, but I do think you need that extra person for the survivor too. Like,
Mhm.
just because everyone has their own job and all that kind of stuff. And I know they said it's for what matchmaking purposes, but I
Mhm.
feel like they could have tried to help fix that a different way. Just I don't know. That's my thoughts.
I don't know if it's just because they've separated out PC and console too. Like if they're
Mhm.
worried about the
I was
lobby
wondering.
size.
Oh,
But
true.
I played yesterday with like no issues. I mean, it does take. One of my complaints with the game, and this was before the patch, was lobby time. You spend a
Mhm.
lot of time in the lobby.
Yeah.
And I know people get frustrated, like, ready up. But really, I don't think it's the people readying up that's the problem. I think it's the amount of time they allowed the lobby to sit. Like, the timer is too long. Like, for DVD, you have everyone loads in and it's 1 minute, right?
Yeah. It's what, like 2, 3 minutes?
It's 3
It's
or
it's
more.
three.
Mhm.
And
I was
then
gonna say it's
the
really
timer can
long.
get reset if someone leaves.
Yeah.
So it goes back up. So when the first game first came out, there was like a lot of sitting in the lobby. So that would be my complaint. They need to make the lobby time shorter, or they need to like fill. I'm again, don't make games. Don't know how you matchmake, or if there is matchmaking, or how you fill the lobbies. Well, they do matchmaking. They do it by your level,
Mhm.
but it's like it just needs to like fill people faster. And I'm sure there's like an algorithm. I know for DVD, there's like an algorithm for filling the lobbies. Like they've talked about it where there's a pool, they pull from one pool, and if you can't pull from there, it like widens and widens and widens. I don't know if it's just an issue with the game and how it pulls people into parties, and maybe it needs to not be so strict on the rules of its matchmaking. Could be a solution, or make the lobby time shorter. Because I don't want to sit in the lobby for 5 minutes and then get kicked. Because that happened when the game first came out, was the lobby wouldn't fill and it would kick everyone.
I think we only ended up playing like 2-something matches because it took us forever just to find
matches.
Yeah, that was when it
game.
first came out. I don't think that's so much an issue now, but yeah, the first couple days it was really, really rough trying to even play the game together. Like the server had all sorts of issues. Like we were trying to play even with me, Morbid, and my hubby, and like one of us kept getting kicked. Like it was just like,
Yeah, it was annoying.
It was like, and we restart and it'd be like someone else would get kicked. It was just like, like what's going on. That was like the first couple days were rough, but I think they've fixed a lot of the server issues. I haven't seen people getting kicked anymore. But let's talk briefly about favorite characters. Do we have favorite family members?
Sissy.
I guess
Sissy.
Sissy, she's my favorite too.
I like how I can't even get the question out. Like
Sissy and Sissy.
I don't mind Hitchhiker. Is it I think it's Hitchhiker.
Yeah,
only
he's the other
because
fast one.
he's quick, and then he can shimmy in between the little
like
areas the way Sissy can. So if I can't play Sissy, I'm okay with him.
Oh, I do love Sissy. I love her singing.
Yeah,
Me too.
Like,
her songs are fun.
Like her
She's
poison,
so hot and crazy. I love her.
Yeah, I like the craziness. Now her poison ability is like I don't feel like it's very strong.
I second that.
But she does have good blood harvesting, as in carrying blood. She can carry a lot of blood. The singing. I love the singing.
And she has, I think her weapon is a straight razor. And I don't know, it's just cool.
She has some really nice endurance. So you can really run between like the doors. And her poison, if you use it, I was using it to block people. So if I noticed they were trying to go through like one of the little tunnel things, I could place the poison there because then they would hesitate and try to get around to get them. Or if you think someone's hiding in an area by a door, I was like poisoning the car battery and stuff like that. So I think with all of them, there's some mechanics to learning how to play her, but she's just fun. And I think I've only played her most of the time. I have played Johnny, who I'm like, eh.
Yeah, he's okay. Johnny at all.
Yeah, and then Cook. I do like Cook's ability with the hearing. But most of the time, I do my best to try to take Sissy away from Morbid Plum.
Yeah, and I'm Leatherface most of the time. That's why I have Leatherface so high, is because no one else. I feel like no one else wants to play him. Though. Like even in solo matches, it's like no one wants to play him.
Tried him yet, so I'm nervous. I don't know why.
I feel like he has like the easiest job in the beginning because you're stuck in the basement, and even if you don't get anyone in the basement, your job is to destroy the obstacles for later. You can collect blood and hopefully find survivors, but like I feel like the pressure is off because you don't have to go defend. You don't have to be the one to go turn on the car battery, stuff like that.
Oh, that's true.
But I have Leatherface he's at level 9 right now. And I finally got his ability all the way maxed out. So we have Insta-Saw, Leatherface.
Nice.
I have worked on Sissy a little bit. The one I'm trying to work on now is Cook because of the hearing ability. Because I think if you get him to 3, there's an option he can ping auras for all family memory. So I'm like, I need to get him up.
That's cool.
Like, I saw people playing with him and that they were like, ping, we need to cook the ping. I'm like, you can ping? Oh my God. Like I need to get him up. Like that would be such a good perk. I mean, he frustrates me because he is so dang slow.
Yeah, I know.
He is so slow. It's frustrating. And he can't go between the obstacles.
Yeah, but
He's
I
kind
do
of
like.
frustrating, but he's still good. The hearing ability is great.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ability to hear is probably like the thing I like the most about him.
Yeah.
Johnny's okay, and the same with Hitchhiker. He's not bad. It's just I don't find him as enjoyable as Sissy or the cook.
I feel like some people are saying that Johnny is basically like a Wish.com Leatherface.
I have heard that. I have not played him
Hey,
though.
that's accurate though.
But I've heard his ability is not that great. But I haven't played
Yeah.
him, so I
Well,
don't
maybe
know.
that's part of it. I can't remember because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but maybe he just is a wannabe Leatherface.
Is he in the movie? Or is this
I don't.
I think Johnny and Sissy,
Are they rich? They're new.
I think they're original, but based on, I think the whole character aspect is it did come from people who either worked on the movie. Don't quote me on that. I would have to look
Okay.
it up.
Speculation.
Yeah.
But speculation, tinfoil hat
Speculation.
time.
Trying to
That
remember facts that we're not
yeah.
double checking right now.
Yeah. Because I have only seen the remake. I've never seen the original. I've seen clips of the original, and I've been to the place where they filmed it. That's in Texas,
Well,
but I've never like seen it. So
I do know that the devs have permission to make original content based in the
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw universe, so they can create new characters that are within the universe.
Within the universe.
Mhm.
I would also
I-
like some new outfits for Sissy because she only has one.
Yes.
I know the victims got like recolors. Like there's not even any recolors. Like the victims is so if you play the victim once, you unlock a bunch of recolor cosmetics, and then there's other cosmetics like if you play them
Which are
10 times
fine.
or 20 times. For the victims, Leatherface has cosmetics.
Oh, he has a
He has
few. Yeah.
two. He has two other ones.
Two.
Yes.
I'm just
So-
saying.
But none for the
Sissy
other
with some cute-
family members. I
you
know.
know,
At least
I'm
give us
thinking
some
some-
recolors.
Some really cute booty shorts.
Oh my God. Yes. She would have. Oh, she would look so cute.
So good running around barefoot, just singing her song, poisoning people. She just wants to live her best life, guys.
She does.
Let
And
her
we
have
need
this
to
best
let
of
her.
life. Yes.
I know she's
She
come back
deserves the
home.
world.
She needs to.
Exactly. She's trying to rebond.
Mhm.
She's trying to collect all the blood for Grandpa. Give her some cute outfits to kill by. That's all I'm
Who-
saying.
Who just gets so thirsty during the game. I'm like, dude, calm down.
Hey,
Need
but
some more
once you
blood.
get him up and
Oh,
they can't hide anymore, it is so good.
it is.
It
very
is.
good.
We had a match where we just got him up so fast with blood harvesting, and we could just see everybody, and
Mhm.
we were kill. I think we killed it. I got a kill. I think that was the first time I got a kill.
Oh yeah.
I was so excited.
Killing is so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't have a favorite victim. Maybe I'll start playing with my play style though. I would probably be going like Julie because I like to be stealthy.
You're
But I
gonna like
have
Julie or
seen,
Connie.
yeah, it's like Julie or Connie. But I have seen people just killing with Anna, because of her toughness.
Mhm.
But I really would probably lean towards Julie or Connie. I will say though, Leland, little punk, being able to knock people down.
Yes.
So I do like that the victims, see, which DVD doesn't have, the victims have certain abilities only for them that you can level up,
Mhm.
and they make sense. Having a well-rounded team helps because I have seen people, especially people who came from DBD, for example, will use Connie to body block to take hits. Like they'll run him somewhere, come take a hit for me. So if you have a well-rounded team, it really works out, which I like. I like that there is a way to level them up. Everyone has different abilities. It's not just a shell of a character.
Mhm.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, and also within that, you have their what they call their star sign abilities. So like Leland's shoulder push,
Mhm.
Connie's unlocking instant unlock. But also you get ability points and you can upgrade. Like there's different levels you can upgrade. Like their stealth, their proficiency, their toughness, which is like how much damage they can take. So there's also other stuff you
Strength.
can like change within them. So you could play like someone's stealthy but up their toughness. Like you could up Connie's toughness and like kind of change her character than what she was originally, because each of the characters have different levels that they start out with all of that, the toughness, health, stealth. So you can like modify your character even more to be how you want. So if you want like a stealthy Leland, you could make a stealthy Leland, because he's not
That's
stealthy
true.
to begin with. He's very
Yeah.
loud, but you can change your character in that way too, and pour those ability points into that.
You can essentially have builds, your own builds, and you can respec as well, which is nice. So if you want to change something up, you can, but you could have a stealthy Leland who was able to sneak up and shoulder, knock someone over, depending on how you want to play. It's really cool. I've been seeing a lot of people have been putting like, especially people like streaming on Twitch or something, have been pinning their quote unquote builds for their survivors. And they're letting them know how many points they had into stuff or what
Oh,
they
that's
were
cool.
choosing on the skill tree as well. So like I put this many points into whatever, and here's what I got on the skill tree. And you can really change it up, which is nice. It makes it to where, again, the character is not a shell, and you can do a lot of things with the character depending on how you want your build to be. And as people who typically play together, that gives us the opportunity to build out characters to be compatible with, how our friends play, which is really nice.
Any other thoughts on TCM?
No.
No, I'm excited to see, how the game progresses. So
Yeah,
it'll be exciting.
hopefully they fix the crossplay stuff soon.
Yeah, hopefully it stays alive and it doesn't just completely gets
we want to play
abandoned.
with our friends.
Yeah, it's kind of weird changes to make, like, what, first week out, 2 weeks out, like the 6-player thing and the crossplay thing I just feel like they're odd things to kind of implement, like at the beginning of your launch.
Yeah,
but we shall see what happens. So
very, very true.
I think that's a wrap.
Wrapping up?
Yes, we're wrapping up. It's
One
your
thing
turn.
though.
Oh, what?
Yes.
What?
What? Who's going? I'm confused.
No, I was gonna say you. I was just gonna remind you. Go.
Oh,
wait.
We wanted to plug socials.
Yes.
Yes.
So we realized in our last episode, we realized that we hadn't been checking YouTube for comments. So thank you for everyone who had commented on the YouTube.
Thank you.
Our bad. I'm sorry.
Yes. It's been really busy. You know what? Morbid Plum went on vacation and just ruined for everybody. But we realized that some people didn't realize we were in more than one place. So we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube, and we just created an Instagram. So if you would like to go follow us on Instagram, it is Gins Before Friends Podcast, where we'll be posting updates for when our episodes are out. We also have a meme on there right now. We're going to have another post coming up with my favorite girl in her bomb-ass new outfit. So connect with us on there if you would like to stay up to date on all the things, Gins Before Friends. I think that's it. Anyone have anything else they want to add?
No, eventually I will hopefully get it. When I say Twitter, an X getting going, but we just gotta work on like a name because apparently everybody's taken all the good names.
I know. Everyone, you guys need to give up the name.
I know, but then I'm like, does anybody use X/Twitter anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
I was like, people do. That's usually where I get my like bug updates on like, hey, this doesn't work. But yeah, we'll get it going eventually. It's just hard because names are taken, and we're new. We're getting a handle on this.
It's called X now, which we still think is really weird. So once we get a Twitter,
we'll let you guys know.
I think if it's gonna be named X, it should have Mr. X as the icon.
Yes.
X gonna give it to you.
Oh my goodness.
We'll see how long it's around.
For real. I guess we can wrap up.
Yeah.
So as we like to say, we hope that you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And bye.
Bye.
Bye.